Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. So we covered this story before in the past. But there's some more details that came out as published on dailymail.co.uk. This is you guys stuff in the UK, right? This story in the Japa in the UK, this man that ended his whole family. So it's a very, very sad situation. We're gonna try not to end on this. I don't want to end on this. I'm just gonna cover it real quick because it's too sad of a story. I don't want to end on a sad note. But yeah, it's over now. It's over. Now it's over. You guys remember this story? All right. Whenever people say DV, this is what my mind goes to. But you guys have corrected me today. Emotional, which everybody collect on that end when it comes to. If you want to group all of them under DV, I need to assess that properly. Because DV just sound like, because when it comes to emotional and verbal, the best of them, they go through it, okay, before they figure it out. You know that time when you call him is stupid? Yeah, that falls under that category too. Like, if I slap you, I'll give you an example in a few minutes. Let me just cover this story real quick. But I better say, young lady is wrong herself. Ladies, please ask for help. Men don't read minds. So same way we want to communicate that they need financial assistance, want them to communicate. Yeah, please ultimately just ask for help if you're feeling that way. So this story, according to Daily Mail, abusive husband beat his wife to death with son's skateboard. Trigger alert with skateboard, while police waited outside for permission from their bosses to go in. Jesus. So this was published on the 25th of April. Officers heard a number of bangs inside the house which Olubunmi Abodunde had gone into, despite bail conditions imposed the day before that banned him from the property following another violent episode. So there was actually arrest before. Jesus. When they finally entered 25 minutes later, they found Taiwo Abodunde, 41, with a trigger alert, skull, skull, smashed in. Jesus Christ. Terrible. That's crazy. I'm trying to slow down reading it so we don't get flagged, okay? Abodunde, 48 years old man, who had been repeatedly investigated by Suffolk, how do you pronounce that? Suffolk police. I think there's a Suffolk County in New York, actually. But I know they're all named after the British. Let's see. Suffolk police about DV was due to go on trial for... Wait. Who had been repeatedly investigated was due to go on trial. Okay? It was due to go on trial for murder, but changed his plea to guilty yesterday. He changed his plea to guilty yesterday after a jury had been sworn in. Oh wow, they've been telling him his chances. I mean, like, Judge Martin Levitt, sitting at Lipswich Crown Court, warned him the only possible sentence was life sentence. Jesus. Olubunmi, yeah, it's one of those typical London houses. Jesus. Suffolk Constabulary has referred itself to the Independent Office of Police Conduct, which confirmed 3 officers were under investigation. An IOPC spokesperson said, "We advised 2 Suffolk officers that they are under investigation for potential breaches of the police standards of professional behavior at the level of gross misconduct." So he's a police. Are they saying he's a police? Is that what they're saying right now? I think they're saying he was a police. "We advised another officer that they are under investigation at the level of misconduct." Abodunde had a history of jealousy and suspicion, right? Jealousy and suspicion. Keep in mind that when you're a jealous person, right, we're not expecting you to admit it. The best we're expecting you to do is to self-reflect and to see if your partner might be receiving their experience with you as jealous. You don't have to admit that you're jealous. You just have to assess your behavior. Is it possible? Just calm down first. And is it possible that I'm being received? The experience with me is being received as a jealous person. I think a lot of time people put the weight on themselves that it must be something I agreed to, that I'm a jealous person, and then I will now agree. But it might be too late to. Okay? It might be too late. It might be too late. Accuse his wife of having, that's a major lesson that I want to extract out of this today. It might be too late. Okay? But Ben likes to quote me that I talk about action and reaction. This is one of those times when we draw the line. Okay? At some point, we have to draw a line. Right? Let's see. He had been investigated by police a number of times over alleged domestic violence incidents before his wife's death. He was arrested on April 27 last year when police arrived at the couple's home in Newmarket, Suffolk, and found Mrs. Abodunde with a split lip. Oh. Later that day, he was freed on police bail with the condition that he stayed away from the marital home and didn't approach his wife. I read somewhere else that I think there's some allegations that the wife was cheating. That will be irrelevant. Thank you. These are good, very strict examples that I can use to get your attention. Say, hey, irrelevant. Irrelevant. Okay. I know somebody's out on the internet making that relevant right now as we speak. Right now, it's not relevant. At least to the judge, it's not relevant. But after working a night shift at Tesco, he went home just after 9 a.m. to allegedly pick up his mobile phone. You guys can still hear me, right? Okay. 2 officers arrived at 9:20 a.m. to take a statement from Mrs. Abodunde about the previous night's incident and heard repeated banging noises inside. All right. Crazy. But it wasn't until 9:55 a.m. that they forced their way in after getting approval from senior officers and found Mrs. Abodunde obviously dead near the front door. A post-mortem examination later showed she had been throttled until she fell unconscious, then stamped on until trigger alert. If you can't hear this, just leave quietly. Thank you. Then stamped upon until her RIBS were broken before her husband used the skateboard to FINISH her off. The blows were so violent that the skateboard was damaged. Prosecutor Simon Spence KC told the court that banging officers heard was likely to have been Abodunde continued to attack his wife after she was unconscious or dead. Now, the line has been drawn now. The message today is that you can choose to draw the line much earlier. Right? You can choose to draw the line much earlier. Here's the rock bottom. You can choose that the rock bottom is much earlier. Right? You can choose that. Okay? But this is the line here. If you don't draw that line, nature will draw that line for you at some point. Something will have to give at some point. Something has to give at some point. During the hearing, the court heard the couple who had 3 children arrived in the UK from Nigeria in 2022. They just arrived in Japa 2022, as well as clashes over the alleged affairs. Okay, alleged affairs. Okay, no evidence. No evidence.
We go explain because no evidence.
No evidence. As well as clashes over alleged affairs, there were also arguments about bills. Somebody's going to be like, this is about finances. Finances cause okay. Clearly, this one's had issues, okay? Again, it's easy to point out the easy things like bills, this person is cheating. Those things are easy to point at. The issues are deeper. Mrs. Abodunde had a job as a care home assistant in Cambridge, but her husband, who had trained as a civil engineer, was unable to find work in his profession. So it's not a police, he wasn't a police. He just arrived in 2022, right? To find work in his profession and took shift at Tesco and Wikis. Is that how they pronounce it? Wix? After his arrest for the murder, Abodunde was taken to hospital because he appeared to have some sort of mental episode, Abby. Obviously, a person who is normal will not do that. Okay? That person has lost their mind at that point. Right? When you, God forbid, when a person blacks out, they probably have been blacking out in and out for a while. Okay? He later claimed in a statement to police he had acted in self-defense, saying, "My wife has subjected me to physical abuse for a number of years." You see that quote? My wife has subjected me to physical abuse for a number of years. All right. So when the title says, "Jackpot, my wife made me do it," that's the way I'm interpreting that. Clearly, that's not going to fly, right? When the line is drawn, at some point the line will be drawn. At some point, you cannot claim that you are reacting to other people's actions. You're responsible for your own actions. You've always been responsible for your own actions, but sometimes you get away with it. You say things like, "He made me do it, she made me do it." If you don't draw the line of that kind of excuse and hold yourself accountable, at some point the line will be drawn. It's not sustainable. Something has to give at some point. Hopefully it's not this kind of crazy story. Self-awareness is key. All right, let's keep going. On November 28th, we got into an argument. She ran at me with a knife. I grabbed the knife and cut my hand. I was defending myself. But the court heard while he did have an injury to his hand, there wasn't a knife near his wife's body. Ineka Akudolu KC defending, that's a lawyer, that's a defendant, what do you call them? Defendant lawyer, right? Said the level of VI violence was completely out of character. Okay, so she's defending, that's what she's supposed to do. For her client, she's probably just trying to get a reduced time. That's all she can do. For her client, I might have been affected by medication he was taking, but she had no medical evidence. Would be provided to support his claim.
We go explain because no evidence.
Detective Inspector Dan Connick of Suffolk Police said after the hearing, this was an awful attack on a woman that has had a lasting impact on the community and most importantly on the victim's family. We are pleased that Taiwo's family will no longer have to go through the pain of a trial. Our thoughts remain with Taiwo's family and friends and hope this result will bring some small comfort to them. Taiwo Abodunde worked for Cambridge Manor Care Home, which provides dementia, residential and respite care. A spokesperson for the facility, which is owned by TLC Care, said, "We are all deeply shaken and upset by the tragic death of Taiwo, who was a much loved member of our home community. Our thoughts and deepest condolences are with her family. Taiwo always cared for those who support with compassion and kindness, and she'll be greatly missed by all of us and our residents." Abodunde was remanded in custody and will be sentenced on May 9th. All right, so he already pled guilty, so they don't have to determine him guilty anymore. This one is too much for me. I'm just gonna read the chat and then we'll move on. Move right ahead. The only lesson I have here is that yes, every action is a reaction. That's number one. Number two, you're responsible for your reactions, because your reactions are actions you are responsible for. You can only get away from that for so long. Eventually a line will be drawn, or you can choose to draw the line, hold yourself accountable without necessarily saying it's your fault. We're not saying you have to say things are your fault, but you can just hold yourself accountable for your reactions, which are your actions, before it gets too late. Because if you don't do that, the universe will do it for you, and it may not be a pretty sight. Okay. Not to say, yes, we have Suffolk County. Yep. Let's see. He's saying that his supposed cheating is irrelevant to him. Maya, yes, it's absolutely irrelevant. Kojo. Absolutely irrelevant. Yep. Like as absolute. If you give one room for relevance of cheating to this case, you are literally saying, okay, this is how most people will interpret it. You are saying it is okay to buy a person when they cheat on you. Is that what you're saying? No, I know my brother Ben, he's not saying that. So I know you agree with me that cheating is absolutely irrelevant. I know you're with me, brother. I know you're with me. The way couples are advised to do genotype before marriage, psychological evaluation should be done too, please. Sure, but anger is temporary insanity. Okay, so if you see anger and stuff like that, something as simple as somebody throw a glass cup like this off the table because they're angry, it's not an overreaction to go and sleep in the hotel for the night. Call the police on her. Gentlemen, let her go and sleep in jail for the night. Don't be afraid. It's okay. If she throws this stuff across the room and it bangs, or she starts pulling stuff from the wall and breaking them, at least, I know you're a man, you don't want to call police on your woman, I get that. At least remove yourself temporarily. And please don't go back into that relationship until you ensure. The next request is that you must engage therapy. We're not moving forward unless this is addressed. Unfortunately, a lot of these issues is when you, because of marriage, the government doesn't want to come into. It's such a personal thing. There's only so much they can come into it. Like the auntie said yesterday, if you no agree, they will agree for you. That's as much as they can do, because it's family matters. It's a sacred thing as far as they're concerned. They can't be enforcing, right? But we can educate ourselves, right? So, Chai, what will happen to those 3 kids now? Just like Osinachi's children, yeah? He will start raising funds for them, I guess. Didn't he claim self-defense? He did. He did. He claimed he had been abused before. It's a possibility. It's a possibility, right? But when the line has been drawn, that's no longer relevant. Sorry, yo. No, I want to be sensitive. I don't want to play that sound stuff. Yeah, it's no longer relevant once this crazy kind of line has been drawn. His lawyer is Igbo, defense lawyer. Thank you, Jerry, defense lawyer. That's what I was trying to say. Self-defense care. After she was down and you continue to finish her with the skateboard, when she was down, it shows that it's not no damn self-defense. Yeah, pray that God will give you the wisdom so that you don't end up in a blackout. When people black out, you're blacked out. But blackout doesn't fall out of the skies. There's a series of events that leads to that. If a woman is cheating on you, that's your cue. That's your cue. Like, she doesn't respect you. She's made a choice. Move on. It doesn't change the fact that it's a very sad situation, that you're hurt by it. Move on. Move on as fast as humanly possible. Gone just like that. Shake my head. Poor kids. The level of Shalaye no get part 2. That's why Allah said her so-called cheating, yeah, it's not relevant. Once a certain line is drawn, Wherever he was reacting to is no longer relevant. You see how I'm spelling it out? Because the reality, we have to be spelling it out. It's not that simple to comprehend that all the way. I have to keep spelling it out. It's not relevant. So I would rather he knows this before he ends up in this situation. Foresight. If this kind of thing happens, so this cheating thing I'm crying about will no longer be relevant. So I'm going to make it irrelevant this moment. Move on. I'll go in my corner, I'll cry like a bitch. Move on with your life. You're a good man. Somebody else will find you useful in society as a husband. By the way, all of that is easier said than done. I just want to encourage you, please don't wait until I have to tell you that it's irrelevant. Make it irrelevant as soon as possible. If a woman chooses to cheat on you, let's assume it's the truth. She doesn't want to be. She's troubled. Whatever is going on there, because she could leave before she cheats, right? Like they say, right? But she's not doing that. That's trouble already, right? Or you can sit down there. She's just been evil. We're going to give her deliverance. Say no. Do you think frustration of being in a new environment or not being able to get a job within this career line could have contributed to this? Expectations versus reality. Everything contributed to it. Everything contributed to it. Pressure, frustrations, not feeling like a man. They might hold money in Nigeria. He might be under the pressure of owing money. But when this kind of line has been drawn naturally, we have to call it what it is. It's a murderer. That's it. Does that sound harsh? It's the reality. That's why I say everything I say before it gets like, don't wait until that. Don't wait. Don't wait until that. Just, if you have a need to ask for submission, she cannot submit. Don't jebe. It's not working. If you have to ask for trust, that person cannot trust you. If you have to ask for respect, it's not hardening up to respect. You are pulling teeth, and that's deep. Like it's not going to work. You're going to break bones and shatter things. And the best thing, your best point of leverage is self-awareness. Let go. Acknowledge first that it's very hard to do, but let go. Let go. Let go. Letting go might just be a temporary thing you have to do. Okay. Might just be. So everything contributed to it, but how long do you think the judge is going to? They might give you 2 or 3 days to go to trial. If you don't have evidence, guess what they're going to call it? Irrelevant.
We go explain because no evidence.
No justification for his action though. Mental health is real. I got you, Toby and Tribe. As she starts reaching for AK-47, run man, run. Oh, Abby, knife. I know stories, personal stories of people that have reached for stuff, bang it on their husband's head, you know, things like that, or slap them from behind. You know, I know those stories. Okay. And they are okay today, but they're just lucky that it's not a. Some people will black out and choke the shit out of. It's a dangerous game to play, you know. It's a dangerous also, but people just don't fall into that space. Once you start engaging in words and you say things that you find that you can't forget, the other person has said things to you that you know in your heart in that moment you couldn't forgive. That's your cue. That's your cue. Right? This is the part where they say, I'm teaching you to divorce. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision, but get out. It might end up being a permanent decision. Okay? It might end up being a permanent decision. That's the reality of what we're dealing with. So but if we pretend like just because you know how to pronounce the name of Jesus 3 times, Jesus, and you think this is not going to happen, and you say, hey, there's no need for any skills, just do what works for you. Isn't that what we're telling ourselves? These things are more common than we like, okay, than we like to admit, okay. So going back to somebody that said DV earlier, these things are more common than we would like to admit, as a matter of fact. By someone for cheating is absolutely unacceptable. That's it. That's all I was saying. But why cheating in the first place when you can leave? Because we're cheaters. We lie, we cheat, we steal. You just kind of do it in the way that's not, you don't take people's candy. I get it. In the fridge, in the break room. I know you're not a thief, okay. But if I dig deep into your character as a human being, you've stolen something before, and you call it was all God. Somebody said, don't let somebody's wife stop you from going for the love of your life. You justify. You say it's the blessing of God. They stole a bunch of money from the ministry at your workplace, and they gave all of you bonuses, and you went to church and gave the testimony. But Ben, stay with me, bro, stay with me, okay? Human beings will cheat when it feels right. If they can justify it, they will do what they have to do. When it becomes a matter of survival, they do what they have to do. You just need to know this and know peace, okay? When you know this and know peace, it doesn't mean that's where it ends. You will focus more on influencing as opposed to trying to control people with rules. You focus more on your ability to influence people to just want to treat you good. They don't have a choice. They see you. They see respect. They just want to treat you good. When people see Brother Ben, they just say, we're about to laugh right now. We're about to feel good. That's your superpower. Right? If you now set rules, could it work? That rule, oh, you must be around me. It doesn't work. That's controlling behavior that people engage when they don't have their way inside of marriage. They disengage from the influence they used in the first place to toast and woo that person. They get into, you're not supposed to act like that as a wife. It does not work. If you have to say that, it's not working. It's not working. You need to back off. It's not working. Like the lady that pied our Niger brother. The picture looks so loving. I guess even crazy marriages have loving moments. They all have loving moments. They just didn't know how to appreciate those loving moments. The negative is louder and can destroy faster. You know, destroying a building is easier than building it. Right? This is all we have to be aware of this, right? It's easy to use one small moment and destroy everything because of anger. So most times it's not you're destroying a person. Well, most times it's like you're not talking for months back to back. You're destroying. Who dashed that one lady hood? See her cold eyes. Wait, he said if she cheated, that means she doesn't respect him, so she should leave. Then this is the same for women. A man doesn't respect her either. Why are we told to endure for the marriage? You should never be. I don't subscribe to enduring a marriage. I think that question should go to other people that say that, you know. If you have to tell a woman to endure a marriage, it's not working. Something is wrong. There are deeper issues. That's not my language. Yeah, it's probably more like Pastor Mike Bamiloye's language. He actually said it, you know. No, if she cheated, anybody that cheats on you. No. It's different. It's actually different. Men and women are not the same thing. When a woman is cheating on a man, right, she's lost respect for him. Okay? When a man is cheating on his woman, he lacks self-respect. Those are two different things. That is a man that's not about his purpose. He has time for a lot of nonsense. The society is structured a little bit differently for men or women, as subscribed to by women themselves. Because when it becomes your son, that's when it shows. When it becomes your brother, then that behavior shows. It's different. Okay? However, cheating across the board is just wrong. It's just wrong, you know? But it's not about cheating. It's about when your woman naturally wants to look up to you. This is general. Okay? Most people want a man they can look up to. Man is not looking around looking for a woman he can look up to. That's not how that works. It's different. He's looking for a woman he can take care of. If it makes you feel better, maybe you want to call it handbag. right? He's looking for a woman he can like, this is my lady, right? Until see finish, enter, and then he start to act out, right? But it's not the same thing, okay? And we shouldn't be making the same thing, because then we disconnect from the reality of social intelligence, emotional intelligence that goes to how we've socialized some of these things. I want you to stay aware. Stay aware when it comes to that. It doesn't mean that the woman is less than the man. It just means that we have two different roles that we play in society. All right? But endurance in marriage, I'm with you. If you have to endure in marriage, something is not working. Okay? Now, there is a phase that both of you endure as a joint force, right? And sometimes you rub against each other. There will be friction because it's two people at the end of the day, right? Two people try to do one. You will argue, you might not disrespect, but it can happen too. You can disrespect each other. You can, there's a disagreement, I want to say, right? And you grow through that together. Like you ultimately, overall, you keep a united front. You fight together through that phase. It becomes beautiful. They call it couples goal, right? There's that phase. That phase can look like endurance. We're not going to pretend like you're not going to have phases. But if you feel like your partner is on your side while you're doing that, it won't be a problem. Sometimes in the middle of that phase, you feel like they are your enemy. Sometimes just because he has an opinion that he doesn't agree with you, you say, why you always take other people's side? Does that not happen? Look at me and say it doesn't happen. Does that not happen? I beg. Please, let's come back to real life, okay? Has he been convicted? He pled guilty, so I don't know. I think they were only trying to get reduced time, They're going to sentence him on May 9th. Easy to say, absolutely. There are many fishes in the ocean only to catch shrimp. No, all of this is easier said than done. But if you're a shrimp, you will catch shrimp. Sometimes you don't know that you're a shrimp. Big if she cheated. Yes, if she cheated. But listen, human beings cheat. It's not a far-fetched that she cheats. I don't know why this is a surprise. Like when we say people cheat, it's just like you guys are all surprised. People cheat, okay, when it becomes a matter of survival. Get real, okay? It doesn't have to be you that you will cheat. You don't have to attract a husband or wife that will cheat on you. No, you don't have to. I'm just letting you know that people are cheating, okay? They're cheating in one shape, form, or the other. Sometimes it's ordinary text messages. Get real, okay? That's where you are. That's when you're all disappointed. How come a person can cheat? They are a person. They're a person, okay? So pay attention. Go nurture your relationships. Is there an excuse to cheat? No, cheating is always wrong. They are responsible for their action. Okay? It is what it is. We don't have to assess cheating or stealing or lying beyond what it is. If you cheat, you steal, you lie, you get caught, there's consequences. Very simple. Okay? But if you don't want to attract that kind of situation, please don't be in denial that human beings cheat, steal, and lie. They do. Okay? They do when it becomes a matter of survival. That's why we have the Bonnie and Clyde. She will see that it's all wrong. She's like, I'm fighting with you, bro. We're going to heaven and come back together. It's me and you against the world. Let's get real. All right. Yeah, this is a very sad story. The main lesson for me on this one is very simple. The main lesson is very simple. I just want to repeat it. All actions are reactions. All of them. Okay? You're responding to environmental factors. You're responsible to responding to somebody's action. Somebody made you do it. You can claim that for anything. You're responsible for all of the actions, even though they're all reactions. Okay? You will get away by saying they made you do it a lot. People will give you, it's called people giving you grace. But at some point, some line will be crossed. If you're that disengaged from holding yourself accountable, at some point a line will be crossed. At some point you will hit rock bottom, and it might be too late. Like this situation, you can hit rock bottom much earlier, right? You can just look around you and see that the end of certain behavior, a sequence of behavior, does not end well, and you can hold yourself accountable and say, let me slow down. Even if I don't know what's going on, let me back off. It's okay to go and sleep in a hotel room. It's okay. It's easier said than done, granted, but let's normalize that it's not okay to normalize toxic behaviors inside of marriage. Let's not wait until it gets so bad, because when people black out, it will be too late to be preaching to them that they are wrong. They know they're wrong. See, you just pled guilty. It's too late at that point. If a person is outrightly cheating on you and you're sitting down there and you're arguing with them back and forth, what about that matter? They know they are wrong already. But something is going, there's an internal battle going on and they are fighting it. And if you sit down there and keep doing that, fighting them, you might be enabling it. How about save yourself now? Okay? Just save yourself. Just focus on saving yourself. Okay? Whatever that means in your specific situation. That's all I have for this one. I hear men say women are emotional, but it's controllable anger. No, we are all emotional. All of us. Men or women. We express it differently because of socialization. Okay? And some primitive behavior. We express our emotions differently from gender to gender. But we're all emotional. This is the anger that we're talking about right now is what it looks like when a man loses complete control of his emotion. Yeah, it's bad, you know. So, but good point. A lot of people say that a lot. They're wrong. We're all emotional beings, which is why emotions no be our mate. Both men and women. Do you know men list their wives to cheating? Wait, what? I missed that. No, it's not anger. He is being a man. Oh. Uncontrollable anger. Interesting. They think being emotional is only when no. Emotions is when people that are emotionally manipulative are emotional, literally. If they are logical, they will be able to say, it's not working. A woman who is cheating on me, I need to leave, you know. I can just dismiss her. She clearly doesn't want to be here. Easier said than done, but getting out of your emotions is easier said than done, right? We're saying the same thing. Lose their wives to cheating. Yes, they do. There's all kind of, I know, like, there are all kind of terrible stories of women cheating. You know, it's a lot of men that have exercised a lot of emotional control around that, and you might never hear them say it because they also need to protect their ego over time. All right, if you like the value in this, I think, let me ask you guys a question. What should we cover here? Okay, there's let me see. Let's see. All right. You would like this next one. Just stay tuned, okay? I'll be right back. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.